Hello, everyone. This is Milton Bertrand, your host. It is always a pleasure to be here with you once again to talk about the many things that are happening within science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, as always, as we intend this channel to be Geazle STEM Network TV that is on YouTube and also on Geazle.com STEM platform. This channel is basically there to encourage you to partake in the STEM disciplines. So we are here to inform you about the many things that are happening within the STEM community as far as research is concerned and things like that. So we are to some extent different. So we are not there to tell you the craziness of um, today's news, but we are there to focus on things that matter to your well-being and also to the welfare of society. So the interesting thing is this: I'm holding in my hand right now, what do you call it? A mug, but it has coffee in it. Okay, so today we will be talking about the importance of coffee and how coffee protects the system to some extent. So the benefits of coffee. So I'm not sure exactly how many of you are there who is a coffee drinker or who are coffee drinkers to some extent. So I like to brew my own coffee. I like uh, some good coffee, and I do not like to go out and get the coffee for one specific reason. Um, because your coffee quality, the taste of your coffee is very dependent on the water that is used to make the coffee. So oftentimes I go out there and the quality of the coffee could be good, but the taste is not that good for one specific reason, because the water that is used to make the coffee is not the best water. Sometimes it is on tap water, not very well filtered, and if it is filtered water, you wonder how good the filter is, how long the filter has been in use to some extent. So this is why I like to brew my own coffee. So the taste is so much better than what you can actually get if you go out there and get it. So I try to make that an effort every day to brew my own coffee. So anyhow, we are going to talk about some research that has been conducted as to the health benefits of coffee. So, as many of you know, that coffee is the most widely consumed beverage in the world. So, according to this publication, it is estimated with a yearly world average consumption of 1.1 kilogram per capita. So that is a lot of coffee consumption. So, and that number is even higher in industrialized countries, industrialized nations. So that is about 4.5 kilogram per capita. So, as I have previously mentioned, that coffee consumption is associated with great health benefits. So, according to scientific research, these benefits include lower risk of death and getting heart disease compared with drinking no coffee. Coffee drinking is also associated with lower risk of some cancers, diabetes, liver disease, and dementia, stroke, and others. So, therefore, if you are a coffee drinker, these things are good because you get not the benefit of coffee. That doesn't mean you will not get these form of diseases, but the risk of getting these diseases are well mitigated, minimized by drinking coffee. So therefore, drinking coffee is not a bad thing. So some people may not like to drink coffee because the taste of coffee. So this is something that you have to get used to. And some people drink coffee. They're not actually drinking coffee, but they are drinking sugar because they put so much sugar in the coffee. So technically, you should be drinking your coffee without any sugar. So therefore, this is where you actually get the taste of coffee, so that you can feel it. You can taste it to some extent. So that is very, very important to understand what is happening in the world of coffee. So coffee is very important. So as a matter of fact, there was another observational study conducted in humans at the University of South Florida, USF. So USF is basically a public university, a big research institution that is basically located in the west coast of Florida, Tampa, Florida. This is where that university is. As a matter of fact, I attended such university, so which is a big research institution. As a matter of fact, such observational study was conducted at Bird Alzheimer Institute, and according to the research, daily coffee or daily caffeine intake during midlife and an older age decreases the risk of Alzheimer's disease. So therefore, if you are at risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, so therefore becoming a coffee drinker and midlife or an older age, that greatly mitigates the risk of Alzheimer's disease. So, and again, in earlier studies in Alzheimer's mice indicated that caffeine was likely the ingredient in coffee that provides this protection, because it decreases brain production of the abnormal protein and beta amyloid. So beta amyloid is basically the protein that is basically responsible for Alzheimer's disease. So therefore, studies in mice, so that was basically a great factor that coffee was the main ingredient of such. So caffeinated coffee provides a natural increase in blood GCSF levels. So GCSF levels, which is a granulocyte colony stimulating factor, said USF neuroscientist Dr. Shawn Chow. So however, the mechanism that underlies these protective effects has been unclear to researchers. So therefore, even they say that caffeine is very important, is necessary to mitigate or to minimize the risk of Alzheimer's disease, but the mechanism of action or the mechanism of these protective effects are not clear yet. So therefore, further research is necessary to determine exactly the mechanism of action or the mechanism of these benefits as to how things work, as to how caffeine actually works. So, and also there is another study. As a matter of fact, caffeine promotes the movement of a regulatory protein into mitochondria, and then enhancing the function and protecting cardiovascular system. cardiovascular cells from damage. Such study was published in June 2018 in the Open Journal PLOS Biology. So, and that was by Judith and Joachim and colleagues of the medical faculty at Enrich High University and the IUF Leibniz Research Institute for Environmental Medicine in Germany. So that was basically a mouthful here. These were German names, so excuse me for not able to pronounce these German words too well. So because I'm reading the paper, the research as I'm talking to you right now. So this is exactly what is going on. So the researchers found that the protective effect was reached at a concentration equivalent to consumption of 4 cups of coffee, suggesting the effect may be physiologically relevant. So therefore it is very important to drink coffee. So, and as we talk here, I'm just gonna to take a sip of my such wonderful coffee. So that's not bad at all. Wow, that was very tasty. All right, so talking about very tasty, I'm making a mess on my paper as well because I put some coffee on it. So anyhow, so according to the latest research, coffee promotes protection and repair of heart muscles through the action of mitochondria P27. So therefore, coffee protects the heart with the help of mitochondria. So therefore, coffee is very good. So the heart is basically a very important part of the biological system. So that means if you protect the heart, you may live well and you may live longer, and you will most likely minimize or mitigate cardiovascular diseases. So, and according to the research, these results should lead to better strategies for protecting heart muscles from damage, including a consideration of coffee consumption or caffeine as an additional dietary factor in the elderly population. So basically, according to the research, caffeine should be part of your diet. So drinking coffee is not that bad. So as a matter of fact, there has been studies in the past that coffee is not that good for you because it elevates your blood pressure and all kind of stuff. But I'm drinking coffee, my blood pressure is fine, and I'm not taking any form of medication. So, and I try to check my blood pressure every so often, and everything seems to be okay despite my daily consumption of coffee. So I drink coffee every day. So as you can tell, I have a cup right now in my hand. So, and basically, according to this study, mitochondria P27 could serve as a potential therapeutic strategy not only in cardiovascular diseases but also improving health span. So, and such a publication was published in June 2018 in PLOS Biology. So now you know coffee is not that bad. So you can drink coffee as much as you want, but not simply, as we say, everything has to be done in moderation. So just because coffee is good for you, that doesn't mean you have to go out there and drink coffee. So everything has a limit. So I believe the limit of coffee, the daily intake of coffee is about 400 milligram a day, 400 milligrams a day. So uh, just like everything, there is a limit. So just because it is good for you, that doesn't mean you have to go and get as much as you want. So as much as you want is not going to help you. So most likely it may be more detrimental to your health than helping you. So um, if you have any question about what we have brought to you today as far as the benefits of coffee, as to why you should start drinking if you are not a coffee drinker, and if you are a coffee drinker, as to why you should continue taking the daily dose of coffee. So coffee is very inexpensive compared down to other drinks. So basically, like I said now to you earlier, I brew my own coffee. I go to the grocery store and I get my own coffee. So I like certain brand. So I'm not going to say which one, but I do not discriminate a I do not discriminate any good coffee. So if I am out and I'm having a conversation with a friend, I say, hey, have you tried such a coffee? I say, no, and they suggested I will go to the store and try my very best to see exactly if I can get such coffee, and I will try it. If I do not like the taste or if I do not like it, I will not buy it again, but at least I'll give it a try. That is basically the point, to be open-minded, to be open to new things, especially different coffee flavors and things like that from different places around the world, because coffee itself is very, very interesting, because uh, the taste of the coffee is not the same, dependent on where the coffee is from. So if the coffee is from the Middle East, or if the coffee is from Latin America, or if the coffee is from Africa, so the taste of the coffee is going to be different. So, and this is one of the many reasons that when you become a coffee drinker, you are not just only a coffee drinker, you become what we call it, a connoisseur. So therefore, you can enjoy the true beauty of a good cup of coffee. So this is one of the many reasons. So if you really want to experience the taste of coffee, you should drink that coffee without any sugar whatsoever, or any sweetener whatsoever, to actually really enjoy the coffee. So most people cannot do that, but this is not something that I'm trying to tell you have to do. But if you really, really want to experience the taste of coffee, you should do it with no sugar, or a small amount. So as myself, I do not put sugar in my coffee. I just use honey. So raw honey, that is by far the best uh, thing for you if you don't use sugar, and I will suggest not to. If you can use raw honey in your coffee, that is going to be ideal, and that is going to be much better. Uh, that is going to be much better for your health in general, because that sugar, and I'm not too big of a fan. I'm not so much of a fan on that aspect. So, and this is where we are. And if you are a coffee drinker and you want to be a part of this show, and you want to uh, write us, feel free to send your email to us at editor@geazle.com. Editor@geazle.com. This is where we are. This is where you can find us, and we will be very happy to hear from you. We will be very happy to know that you have been watching and you have been a part of the many things that we are doing when it comes to diffusion of science and technology, engineering, mathematics. So if you do have anything that you want to add onto our program, you want to be a part of our shows, and we are so excited that you could be part of it. And this is where we are. So drink coffee. Okay, coffee is very, very good for you. All right, so do not forget to email us at editor@geazle.com. So, and also if you are a sponsor out there and you would like to sponsor our shows, to sponsor the many things that we are doing, your sponsorship is welcome and your viewership is welcome. So if you are watching the many things that we are doing, so you are also sponsoring what we are doing. Therefore, we thank you for all, and we will look for you, and we look for you to talk about. We look forward to speak about other things, and as we will be talking about the many things that are happening within science and technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we are there to bring you the news about all these things. So that was basically health news about coffee, how coffee protects on the system. So next time we'll be talking about engineering, sometimes we'll be talking about mathematics, and sometimes we'll be talking about technology. So one of the many things that are going right now in technology is AI, which is artificial intelligence. So we'll be talking about these things in the future, and also the self-driving vehicles, as to what is happening and as to what the future of these things are, and as far as driving vehicles. So what is the hiccup, what is the problem that is now within this? So will we be able to drive, will we be able to have self-driving vehicles while we have humans interaction with these self-driving vehicles? So will it be easier to remove human beings on the road and only have a self-driving vehicle? So is that the way of the future? So those are the things that we plan to talk about in the near future. Those are the things that we plan to bring guests to talk about, because we have so many things to talk about. So we would like to have people in the field, experts who know or who have been doing research on what they are doing. So therefore we will be there to talk about all these things. So long, and that was Milton Bertrand, your host. It has been a pleasure to be a part of your daily interaction, and we look forward to see you next time. So long, and we'll be seeing you soon. Happy Geazling.